For 3 weeks, Emeka had been sitting at the same junction, begging strangers for whatever they could spare. What they did not know was that the beggar sitting before them was not really a beggar.
Please, anything you can spare. God will reward you. Anything at all, my brother, my sister, God will reward you. He had been sitting at that same junction for 3 weeks now, dust settling into the creases of his palms, his voice won't thin from repeating the same words to strangers who barely looked at him. Some threw coins without slowing their steps. Some stepped around him like he was nothing. And some, the ones he remembered longest, laughed. Is that not Emeka? The Emeka from Federal Government College. The one who used to top mathematics. 12 years earlier, Emeka had been the boy everyone believed would build something great. He built it. He built the future everyone expected from him, and then he watched it collapse. Now, he sat in the wreckage of everything people once expected from him, watching 2 of his old classmates take out their phones. Let me record this now. Nobody will believe me if I just talk about it. Bring it closer. Make sure you catch his face well. They laughed. Emeka said nothing. He had learned, in 3 weeks, that saying something changed nothing except how long the humiliation lasted. But what they did not know was that Emeka's name was not really on any list of the poor. 4 streets away, a car worth more than most of their fathers' houses was waiting for him. And that night, he would sit in a boardroom on the 40th floor of a building he owned. No one there would call him a beggar. But that was not why he was sitting on that street. He was there because 3 weeks earlier, he had told his board something that made every person in the room go silent. I want to know who still has kindness in them when they believe there is nothing to gain from it. They thought it was madness. Emeka knew it was the only test that could ever tell him the truth about a person. Then, a woman stopped. She did not laugh. She did not reach for her phone. She simply crashed down to his level and asked him a question nobody had asked him in 3 weeks. Have you eaten today? Emeka looked up. And something inside his chest, something he thought had gone numb months ago, moved. Because he knew her face. He had not seen her in 12 years. But he knew her. Ndidi. Emeka. Is that you? He wanted to look away from her, the way he had looked away from every other person who had recognized him that month. But he couldn't. She wasn't filming. She wasn't laughing. She was simply looking at him the way she used to look at him in school, like he was a person, and not a spectacle. What happened to you? The Emeka I knew was going to build companies. I tried. It did not work. I'm sorry. I didn't know things had gotten this hard for you. He washed her eyes carefully. There was no performance in them. In 3 weeks of sitting on that pavement, Emeka had learned to read a person's face in under 2 seconds. He knew who wanted to look generous. He knew who was pretending not to see him. And he knew who genuinely cared. Ndidi's face was doing none of those things. It was simply sad. And underneath the sadness was something steadier. Kindness. You cannot stay out here. Do you have anywhere to sleep tonight? I manage. That is not an answer. He almost smiled. She was still exactly the same. Even at 16, Ndidi had never accepted an answer when she knew it wasn't the truth. Then she said something he never expected to hear. I liked you back then. Emeka stared at her. I never told you because you always seemed like you had somewhere important to be. I didn't think someone like you would ever look twice at someone like me. Emeka remained silent. She continued. And now that I have nothing. She looked directly into his eyes. If you will let me. I don't mind. He didn't tell her that he owned more than she could ever imagine. He didn't tell her that this entire test had been designed to discover whether someone would still choose him when they believed he had nothing to offer. He simply listened. Then Ndidi said, Come home with me tonight. It's small, but it's clean. You should not be sleeping outside. Emeka looked at her for a long moment. Then he stood up and followed her. And for the first time in 3 weeks, the ache in his chest was not from hunger. But Ndidi still didn't know the truth. The man she had just welcomed into her tiny home was not a beggar. He was hiding a secret that would change everything. What will happen when she discovers who Emeka really is? Chapter 2, The phone call he makes in secret is coming soon. Red Heart, subscribe to Clinzzy Folktales and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. See you in chapter 2.